me this morning is Wayne Jackson, Chief Executive of NorthTec. Wayne, thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
My pleasure. Good, thank you. In these COVID times, we're battling on.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to hear. So, really particularly interesting times for our education sector. How is NorthTec going to help pull Northland out of the economic doldrums, do you think?
I think the answer for NorthTec coming back is really to think about how we can provide joined up solutions. I think the fragmentation where we are simply a standalone skills provider with no connectivity to employment or the needs of the region is kind of a long gone concept. We're currently working with the other agencies to deliver a sort of integrated or joined up solution where we're looking at employer needs. So we're looking at short, sharp, no cost skills training delivered in a way that people want it. They don't have to trundle into our campus, and in fact, they're not allowed to. So we're going to have to we are thinking of new and creative ways to deliver, and basically giving people the surety of a job at the end of it. That's one of the critical elements, I think, that would motivate people to want to commit to lifting their skills. That there's a good outcome that we can help with. So we've just launched a 5-week fees-free e-campus. That's our online learning product in Northland only at the stage, on a range of courses for people to take up while they're sitting in lockdown or level 3. And that's just the start of what we see as a kind of complete re-engineering of the way in which we think, meeting the people's needs in the community, as opposed to supplying what we've got. I believe that it ultimately, if we just overcome the immediate short-term effects, the long-term demand in Northland for skilled and semi-skilled workforce is very high. The gap, I think, is on the supply side, if you like, of that. Of course, that the people are not always here to a sufficiently skilled up level to be able to drive that growth. And I know that's a big concern of a lot of the project leaders, managers out there, and some of the larger employees, that they just can't get the people they want.
All of what you've said just a minute ago suggests a greater degree of coordination and discussion with those Northland businesses that do survive and that will continue to hire. Is that on your radar?
Well, that's the nub, I think, of the Interagency Initiative we're putting forward. It's an offshoot of the SWGG. The SWGG is a multi-agency approach led by the DHB and by MB and by MSD to address the immediate impact of the COVID crisis on Northland. One of the projects on that is to form a close-knit group with MB and with the Economic Development Agency, the IRD, and MSD, where we can essentially become a job redeployment agency. We're trying to get down to where are the immediate opportunities and where can we redeploy people, and therefore how do we match an appropriate skills package to help them get there.
That sounds really exciting. So when is that going to be up and running, and when will it be operational, I guess?
Well, we'd like it to be next week. It has to be, it has to be quick, because as people come off the lockdown and as businesses work out whether they can survive or not, which I think will be in the next 2 weeks, we'll start to see some fundamental changes. Then we've got to be ready with a response, and that, in our planning is also would be a physical response, a centre of a job centre, if you like, where people can physically go, or a number of them, because we're obviously a fairly far-flung region, where people can go and sit down and have a good facilitated discussion and work out a plan.
What does SWGG stand for?
It's the working group. I mean, the short answer is it's the social working group, but it's essentially an ad hoc group that's been pulled together of all the social agencies, if you like, in Northland to respond to the immediate crisis. It runs in parallel with the with the civil defence group who are running a parallel but similar approach, looking at different areas, and obviously there's a lot of interplay between the two.
Okay, so how will this what will this job placement initiative look like? How will it work? So I'm a waiter at a hotel in Paihia. My job's just gone walkabout for quite an extended period of time. I'm casting around for something to do. How does it work? How would it work for me?
I think the immediate thing, this is possibly not the longer term view where you might be more strategic around training needs, but the immediate response is to get into that flow of where employers are looking for work and or looking for workers, and to then match them with the people that are coming in the door and work out where the training gaps are. And as I say, put in place some very fast and short, sharp skills, that rather than trying to give someone a diploma which might cover a range of 30 topics, you break it into what are increasingly being called micro credentials or micro skills, where you just teach. So if someone wants to be a forklift driver, then we teach them forklift driver. We don't try to teach them, a diploma level factory management course.
Fabulous. So quite literally, I could then drive down from Paihia, wobble into NorthTec, introduce myself to somebody there, explain who I am and what I've done and what my existing skill set is, and explain the kind of thing that I'm looking for. And you would match me with an opening and say to me, right, Pete, this is what you need to do to upskill to achieve that capability. And here's your course package.
Well, here's your course package, which, by the way, won't cost you any money. And if you desperately need a computer and you haven't got one, we'll loan you one, and we'll give you a data package. And then once that's all done, we'll introduce you to the new employer.
Wayne, this is Northland's greatest unsung secret of the past 2 weeks.
Well, I'm probably going to hang myself by raising expectations, but that's the vision that we're trying to achieve, and we're very strong on it. And we believe it's the integration of those elements, other bits that make it work. I think it's an unintegrated approach will simply not work in our environments, and I think it's great that the agencies are all coming together, recognising it, and putting a practical solution in place.
It's outstanding. And do employers who might be having to let staff go know about this, so they in turn can tell the staff who they're having to let go that they have an option?
I think that's the critical piece. I mean, we're not clearly, we don't want to run before we can walk. We don't want to be talking to employers about this being available right now when it may be 10 days out before we push the button. But yes, it's absolutely I don't want to call it a redundancy centre, which has all sorts of negative connotations, but sitting behind that, at least in the short term, that's the market that really we're looking at.
And I talked a moment ago about the fact that I would wobble into NorthTec. Presumably, I don't actually have to do the wobbling. I could sit in front of a screen and have a look at what's available online.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole nature of where we've taken our business model, where almost 100% of our courses are now delivered online interactively with Zoom and Facebook and with all sorts of other tools. And we encourage people to enroll online, albeit sometimes with assistance, because it's a complicated business sometimes. But I think that's definitely the case. We would not want people to have to travel from the far north down to Whangarei to get that service.
And is this online now? I have to confess, I didn't go to the NorthTec website just before doing this interview.
If you go to the website, you'll see the Forerunner, which is our 5 weeks fees-free e-campus offering. That's a sort of a bit of a taster that we put out there just to sort of get things going. But it'll be and I don't think the marketing promotion will be restricted to NorthTec. I think again it's part of our joined up group that we're trying to work together. So it'll be a collective communication strategy.
So fabulous. So presumably there will be a single portal online somewhere that I, as a newly redundant waiter, can go to and
Yes.
and say, this is me, what's available for me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think maybe numbers of different ways you can access it, but ultimately it should come back to the same centre. That's
fantastic news. And when do you think that will be up and running and operational?
Well, as I said, really, I think the rubber's going to be hitting the road certainly within the next month. We're going to see the impact of the change from level 4 to level 3. We'll know what businesses have hung on and are able to start themselves back up again, which would be great, fantastic. More the better. But we'll also know that those businesses that haven't been able to hang on, or whose sectors are now going to be excluded from doing meaningful business, like tourism and like hospitality for a good number of possibly years. So that's when we've got to be there to match that. So it really has to be there within the next month, but earlier than that if we can.
That is fabulous to know. Wayne Jackson, thank you very, very much indeed for your time, and all the very, very best for this initiative, and all the best in your bubble.
Thank you, Peter, and same to you.